Hello everyone. The question is the decline of the EU a terminal condition? In other words, is Europe dying in the sense that it is turning into something fundamentally different than what it has been since the birth of the Western world? Or can we somehow save the day? Well, some believe that we have reached the point of no return. Europe's cultural decadence and demographic decay cannot be undone, they say. Others, however, believe in a last stand which can overturn the tide. What is for sure is that our generation is the last line of defense. Throughout history, nations and empires have risen and fallen. It is a matter of historical causality. Nothing lasts forever under the sun. But during the centuries, nations and empires have also come to the brink of collapse only to bounce back stronger. The EU can be regarded as a modern empire, one that actually succeeds all the former European empires of the last millennia. Indeed, 27 nations comprise a top international player who has dominated the world stage as a soft superpower for the last about half a century. Lately, however, it has found itself in times of trouble. European might and European influence are on the downslope. Demographic projections are dire as Europeans are not reproducing anymore. Their once world-leading economy is slowing down to be overtaken by developing superpowers like China and India. The EU is no longer on the cutting edge of research and development, nor does it boast the cultural and academic giants it once did. As for hard power, well, with the exception of a handful of European countries, the EU is almost unable to stand its ground militarily. Worse than that, it appears that Europe is committing cultural suicide. Not only does it succumb to Islamism, coming from an ever-increasing number of mostly illegal immigrants imposed on Europeans by their ruling elites, but it also rejects its own Christian identity, while demolishing the very set of values that have made Europe what it is. Europe, in a nutshell, is turning into a place where there is no right and wrong, no good and bad, no male or female, no genders, no ethical rules, no moral beliefs, no freedom of expression if something is regarded as politically incorrect, no nations, and of course no God other than Allah. Can we stop this? Can we overcome? How do nations and empires get back on their feet after a spell of hardships, historically speaking? Well, as a rule, it is charismatic and determined leaders who turn the table. Kings and political leaders, generals and revolutionaries have time and again managed to reverse the trade of events. The problem is that the EU currently has no such leaders. On the contrary, its current leaders are, to a great extent, the very reason why it is in such disarray and decline. But Europe can oust its dreadful leadership and install a new one, because Europe is still made of a very fine material, us Europeans. According to Oxford historian Tom Holland, in his book Persian Fire, the history of the West began on the plain of Marathon, when Athenian citizens faced the oncoming masses from the East. It was a battle between reason on one hand and blind obedience to a supreme authority on the other, between individualism and anonymity. It was the common man who made history back then, and it is the common man who can make history once again now. For 2,500 years, through ups and downs, bright and dark times, the European spirit has managed to survive. It rests upon us all to give it a new lease of life. We may have no weapons and armor, but we still have a say at the ballot. We need to speak up loud and clear now for as long as postmodern tyrants allow us to, for as long as we are still the majority in our homelands. On Sunday, June 9th, we do not just cast a vote. We hold the line in one of the most important battles of our lifetime. Men and women of Europe, let's do our duty. Greetings and all the best from Athens.